Hello there! I'm doing a top 10 video for every single type in Dokkan for the end of 2020. Last week was Super INT, and this week we're looking at its extreme counterpart. I looked at all LRs and Dokkan Fests exclusives, but to save my brain, I limited other units to only those who were released or got some sort of awakening in 2020. Now I consider a variety of factors when making these top 10s, from overall utility, to the stats, to their effectiveness at their designed role, and how well they function in endgame content like Super Battle Road, the Legendary Goku event, and Infinite Dragon Ball history. I've also considered how much their weaknesses limit them and their accessibility to players. This is why my top 10 videos usually have some differences from the tier lists, since I judge those units based on the definitions of each tier in the tier list videos. So essentially, these videos are what I think the top 10 units of that type are, and the tier list videos are made to be a good way for you to gauge how good a particular unit is when you pull them. I saw some confusion on that last week, so hopefully this clears that up. Anyway, as always, you're welcome to disagree with me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Okay, let's do this. So funny enough, I had more trouble deciding on the lower end of this list than I did the number 1 through 4 slots. I went back and forth, but I ended up landing on EZA Buhan for number 10. He has the unfortunate problem of being a nuker unit, but he does actually add some good utility for Super Battle Road. He greatly lowers attack and defense on Super and has quite a bit of healing per orb. With the recent revival of the Majin Buu team, he ends up working as an excellent linking partner for the LR Buu tanks, and while he's not ideal for the longer content, the healing does help you avoid using items too early in those modes. Number 9 is LR Bojack, who, like the horseman who shares his name, is a very lonely guy. He really needs to be paired with another Bojack unit, and since we don't really have good ones, that's gonna drag the team down. But once we get a good Bojack, it's on. This LR is pretty dang strong offensively and has alright defense. Goku Black can be a fantastic tank in long form content. The issue that everyone had with him when he came out was that he takes way too long to build up, and we didn't have any modes like the Legendary Goku event and Infinite Dragon Ball history so that he could actually flourish. This one is a very late bloomer, but once his spring comes, he's tanking hits like a champion. Number 7 is Oceana Shenron, who unfortunately has only 2 categories. However, she's a must bring to both of those Super Battle Road stages. She's not incredibly strong offensively, but she does super a second time if the enemy is debuffed. She also has 40% chance to stun if the enemy is already sealed, which her super attack does. So basically, if you pair her with any unit that has passive debuffing, or on a team that debuffs on the other rotation, she's gonna come in, get an extra 60% attack and defense, launch the first super to seal the enemy, and then a second super to do extra damage and possibly stun them. Plus, that super attack does raise her defense as well, so the double super will come in handy for tanking some hits. Alright, so this Golden Frieza is very good after his EZA, specifically for the Legendary Goku event. He stacks defense, supports target Goku allies, and gets a 50% chance to crit any Goku unit. Basically, if you are facing Goku specifically, he is fantastic. But even if you're not, he's still a good defense stacker and support. He's great for the longer content, and he's usable in Super Battle Road, although not ideal there. Plus, he's been around since 2016, so most players have probably pulled at least one. Number 5 is just Kid Buu. His EZA is good, but there's not really much to say about him. He's strong offensively, he gives key support with an HP restriction that won't matter if you run him on the Majin Power team, he heals a little bit, he's hitting a lot, so that's awesome. Now LR Rose. LR Rose. His defense, a little iffy, but his super does raise his defense for the turn, and his offense, his offense, he's hitting between 7 to 14 million, depending on the situation. And at number 3, we've got one of the best Redstone EZA units, Janemba. You can get him for free in basically every major celebration, and he is incredibly useful. His guard against all attacks really helps him tank hits. Sure, he could have more defense or some damage reduction to make it even better, but it is still very respectable. Additionally, he can still hit pretty great attack numbers. You can find him useful in Super Battle Road, he can be useful in the Legendary Goku event and Infinite Dragon Ball history. In a meta where defense is a big deal, guaranteed guard against everything, and a chance to dodge on top of that, is fantastic. Number 2 is another unit that utilizes the guaranteed guard mechanic. Unfortunately, he does have a restriction that it only happens against a Goku's family enemy. However, there are several Super Battle Roads and longer content events where you'll be able to get that active. But what makes him better than Janemba is that he just does so much more. On top of that guaranteed guard, he also gets a 50% damage reduction whenever guard is active, which, even without facing a Goku's family enemy, makes him a fantastic tank versus tech units. He also provides 20% support to all allies if, again, you're facing a Goku's family enemy. And finally, he stacks his own attack and lowers the enemy's attack on Super, which can be great in Super Battle Road. And finally, there was one more finally, he's free to play. Absolutely fantastic unit, very underrated right now. And number 1 is arguably one of the biggest glow ups from the Link level update, LR Cell. He was considered one of the worst Dokkan Fest LRs, which, to be fair, there weren't many of them, and now level 10 links have brought him considerable attack. But before that, he could tank, and he could tank well. His passive makes him stronger when you have more enemies, so you'll see him doing well in Super Battle Road, and he's tanky enough to bring to Infinite Dragon Ball history and the Legendary Goku events. He heals you if you drop under 30%, and then gets even crazier with his transformation. As soon as I looked at all the available units, I knew LR Cell deserved the number 1 spot. No question in my mind. Now, do you have a different top 10? Let me know what yours is in the comments down below, and don't miss this Sunday for my full Extreme INT tier list. If you want to see where these Super INT units lie, check out the playlist on the screen, and make sure to subscribe so I can hack your phone and play my videos at 3 in the morning. And finally, I hope you all have a good day, a good week, a good life, and happy summons. Goodbye.